Captain Jace Valdris gripped the controls of his ship as the emergency beacon pierced through the cosmic static. 3 days into what should have been a routine cargo run, he never expected to encounter an alien distress signal from the forbidden Zarian system. The message came through in broken universal code, desperate and fading. The coordinates led him to Zarian Prime, harsh desert world where few dared to venture. As his ship descended through the crimson atmosphere, Jace spotted the wreckage scattered across a rocky canyon. The vessel was unlike anything in human records, sleek organic curves suggesting advanced biotechnology, scanning for life signs. His instruments detected a single heartbeat in the ship's rear compartment. Jace grabbed his emergency kit and plasma rifle, knowing the Zarian system crawled with mercenaries and slavers. He had to move fast. The alien ship's hull had been torn open by the crash, revealing chambers filled with strange luminescent panels. Following his scanner deeper into the wreck, Jace heard something that made him freeze. Soft weeping echoed from the shadows ahead. Stepping around twisted metal, he found her. The alien woman was unlike anything he had ever imagined. Her skin shimmered with an opalescent quality that shifted from deep blue to silver in the filtered light. Long flowing hair, the color of starlight, cascaded over her shoulders. When she looked up at him with large, expressive eyes that held flecks of gold, Jace felt his breath catch. She wore torn robes that suggested nobility and delicate crystalline jewelry that pulsed with inner light. Blood seeped from a gash on her forehead, and her leg was trapped under debris. Despite her pain, she possessed an otherworldly grace that made Jace's heart race. "Please," she whispered in accented universal, her voice like distant music. Jace quickly holstered his weapon and knelt beside her. "I'm here to help. My name is Jace. What's yours?" "Nyx," she replied, her eyes studying his face with curious wonder. "You are human?" "Yes."
Hey.
Carefully lifted the metal beam pinning her leg, noting how she bit back a cry of pain. "We need to get you out of here. This place isn't safe." He helped Nyx to her feet, their bodies pressed close together. Jace felt an electric sensation where their skin touched, and he noticed her breath quicken. There was an undeniable attraction sparking between them. Transcending the barriers of species and language, distant engines roared overhead. The mercenaries had found them. Jace wrapped his arm around Nyx's waist, supporting her weight as they moved toward his ship. "Can you run?" he asked. Nyx looked into his determined eyes and felt something stir in her heart that she had never experienced before. "With you, yes." The Korthok mercenaries descended like vultures, their black ships circling the canyon as Jace helped Nyx across the rocky terrain toward his vessel. Her injured leg made progress slow, but she refused to give up, drawing strength from the human's unwavering determination. There, Nyx pointed to a narrow ravine cutting through the red stone cliffs. "We can lose them in the maze." Jace trusted her instincts, changing course as energy blasts scorched the ground behind them. The mercenaries were notorious throughout the galaxy for their brutality. Especially toward alien royalty, they could sell to the highest bidder. As they squeezed through the tight canyon passage, Jace felt Nyx stumble. Without hesitation, he scooped her into his arms, carrying her bridal style through the winding path. She wrapped her arms around his neck, marveling at his strength and the protective way he held her. "Why are you helping me?" Nyx asked, her face inches from his. "Your people and mine have never met." Jace met her golden-flecked gaze, feeling lost in their depths. "Because it's the right thing to do. And because ... He hesitated, then continued honestly. "Because from the moment I saw you, I knew I couldn't leave you behind." Nyx felt her heart's flutter at his words. Among her people, such direct emotion was rare, but she found his honesty incredibly appealing. Her fingers traced the stubble on his jaw. She watched his pupils dilate in response. The sound of boots on stone interrupted the moment. The mercenaries had found their trail. Jace set Nyx down gently and drew his weapon, positioning himself. Protectively in front of her, 3 Korthok warriors emerged from the shadows. Their scaled skin mottled green and brown, weapons raised. Their leader, a scarred brute with cybernetic implants, sneered at them. "The Zephyrian princess and her human pet," he growled. Both will bring good prices on the slave markets. Over my dead body, Jace replied, his finger steady on the trigger. The leader laughed. That can be arranged. The battle was swift and brutal. Jace moved with practiced precision, using the narrow confines of the ravine to his advantage. When one mercenary flanked him, Nyx surprised everyone by using her people's natural agility to disarm the attacker with a graceful spinning kick. As the last mercenary fell, Jace turned to Nyx with admiration. Remind me never to underestimate Zephyrian royalty, she smiled, an expression that lit up her entire face. There is much about my people you do not know, brave human. They emerged from the canyon as twin suns began to set, painting the desert in shades of gold and crimson. Jace's ship waited in a hidden alcove, its hull scarred but intact. As they reached the boarding ramp, Nyx caught his hand. Jace, she said softly, I need you to know what you have done today, saving me, fighting beside me, ... among my people. Such actions create bonds that cannot be broken. Before he could respond, she rose on her toes and pressed her lips gently to his cheek. The brief contact sent fire through both their veins, and they stood frozen for a moment, the weight of attraction, impossibility hanging between them like the desert stars beginning to emerge overhead. The underground cavern system stretched 4 kilometers beneath Zarian Prime's surface, a hidden wonder of crystalline formations that cast rainbow light throughout the chambers. Jace had discovered these caves during his cargo runs, never imagining he would one day share their beauty with an alien princess. Nyx gasped in amazement as they entered the main chamber. Massive crystals grew from floor to ceiling like frozen waterfalls, their surfaces reflecting and refracting the light from Jace's portable lamps into millions of dancing colors. The air hummed with energy and pools of crystal-clear water dotted the cavern floor. It's incredible, Nyx whispered, her voice echoing softly in the vast space. On Zephyria, we have nothing like this. Jace spread emergency blankets beside one of the warm pools where geothermal activity kept the temperature comfortable. We should be safe here until morning. The crystals interfere with scanners, so the mercenaries won't be able to track us. As they settled beside the water, Nyx winced as she tried to tend to her injured leg. Without a word, Jace knelt beside her, gently examining the wound. His touch was careful and professional, but Nyx felt her skin tingle wherever his fingers brushed against her. Tell me about your world, Jace said as he cleaned the cut, trying to distract her from any pain. What's Zephyria like? Nyx's eyes grew distant with memory. Imagine floating cities among the clouds, connected by bridges of light. Our people have evolved to live in harmony with the winds and storms, can sense weather patterns, fly short distances with our natural abilities. She demonstrated by lifting slightly off the ground, hovering for a few seconds before settling back down. Amazing, Jace murmured, genuinely awed. We're a princess, she nodded, but her expression grew sad. Third daughter of the Sky Throne. I was traveling to negotiate a trade agreement when the mercenaries attacked my escort. My guards. They died protecting me. Jace's hands stilled in their ministrations. He looked up to meet her eyes, seeing the pain there. I'm sorry. That must have been terrifying, it was. But then you came out. Nyx reached out to touch his face, her fingers tracing the strong line of his jaw, like something from the old stories my grandmother used to tell. A warrior from the stars who would appear when all hope was lost. The crystal cave around them seemed to pulse with soft light as their gazes locked. Jace felt drawn to her in a way he had never experienced before. Nyx, he whispered her name like a prayer. She leaned closer, her opalescent skin shimmering in the crystal light. Among my people, we believe that some souls are destined to find each other across the vast darkness of space. I think, ... I think I was meant to crash on this world, meant to find you. Their lips met in a kiss that started gentle but quickly deepened with passion.
How Nyx's
Hands tangled in Jace's dark hair while he pulled her closer, marveling at how perfectly she fit in his arms. The crystals around them seemed to sing in harmony, as if the very cave approved of their union. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Nyx rested her forehead against his. What happens now? She asked softly. Jace traced the elegant curve of her neck with his fingertips, making her shiver with pleasure. Now we survive together. And when we get off this rock, we figure out how to bridge two worlds. Dawn brought the roar of engines as both rescue and enemy fleets arrived simultaneously above Zarian Prime. Through the cave opening, Jace and Nyx watched as sleek Zephyrian vessels engaged the brutal Korthok mercenary ships in spectacular combat. Energy beams lanced across the crimson sky while fighters danced between larger capital ships. "My people came for me," Nyx breathed, hope and worry warring in her voice. "Out." But they're outnumbered. Jace activated his communicator, patching into the human frequency. "This is Captain Valdris requesting immediate assistance. I have the Zephyrian princess safe, but we need extraction now." Response came through crackling with static. "Valdris, this is Admiral Brooks. We've got 3 cruisers incoming, but those mercenaries have serious firepower. Can you reach your ship?" "Working on it," Jace replied, grabbing his gear. "Nyx, can you contact your fleet? If we coordinate our attacks, we might have a chance." Pressed her palm against a crystalline formation, which began to glow with inner light. Through some property of Zephyrian biology, she could interface directly with their technology. "Sky Commander Thane, this is Princess Nyx. I am alive and have a human ally. His people are here to help us." The surprise in the Zephyrian commander's voice was evident. "Princess, humans, we know nothing of their capabilities. Trust me," Nyx said firmly. "Jace Valdris is the bravest warrior I have ever met. His people fight with honor." As they raced toward Jace's ship, the battle above intensified. A massive Korthok dreadnought was pounding the Zephyrian flagship with devastating firepower. Suddenly, 3 human cruisers dropped out of hyperspace. Their angular forms a stark contrast to the organic curves of both Zephyrian and Korthok vessels. "All human ships. This is Admiral Brooks," came the transmission. "We're here to assist our Zephyrian allies in rescuing their princess. Let's show these mercenary scum what human determination looks like." The tide of battle shifted dramatically. Human ships used brutal, direct tactics while Zephyrian vessels employed graceful, coordinated maneuvers. The combination proved devastatingly effective against the chaotic mercenary forces. Jace's ship lifted off just as a Korthok fighter strafed their position. "Nyx, I need you to interface with my navigation system. Can you do that?" Without hesitation, Nyx placed her hands on the control console. Her skin glowed as she connected with the ship's computer, sharing targeting data between human and Zephyrian forces. "I can see everything," she gasped. All their ships, all their weaknesses. Together they became a crucial link in the battle. Jace piloted with skill and daring, while Nyx coordinated attacks, her natural abilities enhanced by human technology. They dove between capital ships, relaying vital intelligence that allowed the Allied forces to systematically destroy the mercenary fleet. When the last Korthok ship exploded in a brilliant fireball, cheers echoed across both fleets' communication channels. Jace and Nyx found themselves surrounded by ships from both species, their small vessel, the bridge between 2 civilizations. "You did it," Nyx whispered, turning to Jace with eyes shining with admiration and love. "You united our peoples in battle." Jace pulled her into his arms, kissing her deeply as the combined fleets celebrated around them. Through the cockpit windows, they could see human and Zephyrian ships flying in formation. No longer strangers, but allies forged in the crucible of combat. "We did it," Jace corrected softly against her lips. "Together." 6 months later, the garden habitat aboard the diplomatic station orbiting neutral space bloomed with flowers from both Earth and Zephyria. Representatives from dozens of species had gathered to witness something unprecedented in galactic history: the wedding of a human captain and a Zephyrian princess, symbolizing the first formal alliance between their peoples. Nyx stood before the altar wearing a gown that seemed woven from starlight itself, the traditional Zephyrian ceremonial robes modified with human lace that had belonged to Jace's grandmother. Her hair was adorned with both crystal ornaments from her homeworld and earth flowers that Jace had grown specially for this day. Jace wore his dress uniform with Zephyrian honor cords woven into the fabric, a sign of his acceptance into Nyx's people. when their eyes met across the gathered assembly. The love between them was so evident that several species translators had difficulty finding adequate words. Admiral Brooks stepped forward as the human representative. Today we witness not just the union of two souls, but the birth of a new era of cooperation between species. Captain Valdris, Princess Nyx, your love has already changed the galaxy. Sky Commander Thane spoke for the Zephyrians. In our oldest traditions, we speak of bonds forged in the storms of adversity. Jace Valdris flew into danger to save one of our own, asking nothing in return. Such courage honors both his people and ours. The ceremony itself blended traditions from both worlds. They exchanged rings forged from metals from both planets. Nyx's ability to briefly fly was incorporated into the Zephyrian custom of the sky dance. With Jace lifting her as she soared above the assembled guests, when they kissed to seal their union, the crystal formations decorating the habitat glowed in response to Nyx's joy. While human guests cheered and threw flower petals that swirled around the couple like multicolored snow, the reception that followed was a marvel of interspecies cooperation. Human chefs had learned to prepare Zephyrian delicacies, while Zephyrian musicians created compositions that incorporated human instruments. The dance floor saw species that had never met before sharing steps and laughter. As the celebration continued late into the station's night cycle, Jace and Nyx stepped onto the observation deck to look out at the stars. Through the transparent aluminum windows, they could see ships from both their peoples working together on joint patrols and research missions. "Do you ever regret it?" Nyx asked, settling into Jace's embrace. "Leaving your old life behind too? Become an ambassador?" Jace tightened his arms around her, marveling at how she fit so perfectly against him. "Regret finding the love of my life and helping forge peace between civilizations. It's never." He turned her to face him, his hands gentle on her waist. "Besides, our adventures are just beginning." Nyx smiled, her eyes sparkling with mischief and love. "The Council has approved our request. We'll have our own ship, our own crew of volunteers from both species. We can explore the unknown regions together." "Together," Jace agreed, sealing the promise with a kiss that tasted of stardust and infinite possibilities. Around them, the galaxy stretched in all directions, vast and full of wonders waiting to be discovered by two hearts that had found their home in each other. The stars had aligned to bring them together, and now they would chase new stars too. The very edge of known space, proving that love truly could conquer the vast distances between worlds.